and good feelings about Florida and been interested in it. And in college, got into Buffett's music. And as I kind of started to travel on my own, I listened to less of it. And then as I kind of collected a mortgage and had a child and became a little more anchored to home, I returned to it again and again. And I became really fascinated with the path that Margaritaville had traveled, from this song kind of coming out of those last real outlaw days down in Key West to everything that it's become today, the massive brand.
So did you have to interview Jimmy Buffett in order to do the book?
I had always seen the book as coming from outside of Jimmy, because it's a big cultural phenomenon. He did not sit down and talk. My understanding is that he, from talking to people very close to him, is that he still plans on writing, at least one more of his own. I hope many more than that. But John Colin, who's the CEO of Margaritaville, spent time with him. Michael Utley, who's the musical director in the Coral Reefer Band. Mac McAnally. I mean, those two guys are Jimmy's left hand and right hand on stage these days. They were really generous with their time, and a lot of Coral Reefers past and present and business partners and people who were in these places. Norbert Putnam, who produced Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, and the next batch of records after that. I spent a fantastic day and a half with him in and around Muscle Shoals, Alabama, with him taking me to all the old studios and everything else there. So while Jimmy didn't sit down and chat, a lot of people did, and I can, from talking to them, confirm what you assumed, is that he's a very fun person to hang out with. Alan Toussaint, I got a chance to talk with him before he died, and he said, well, he'd never been fishing with Jimmy. He could definitively say that Jimmy's airplanes are on point, just finely detailed and awesome to fly around on.
Oh, really? So the world he was a part of was not really a world that he was of, I guess is the best way to say that. Part of the book, it tells about how, well, you remember all the stories about the rock stars wrecking the rooms. He was not the guy that was going to wreck a hotel room.
No, he was more the guy who was going to understand that you have to pay for the wrecked hotel room. There's a great story in the book. Tom Corcoran, who lives down in Lakeland, and he was a bartender at the Chart Room, gave Jimmy his first beer in Key West. He's a fantastic novelist now. He's a great photographer. He was on those boats in the 70s. He walked into a hotel room down in Miami one day, and this is probably about 78. He thought that they were maybe doing a show with the Eagles, and he needed to ask Jimmy something. He knocked on the door, and Jimmy opens the hotel room door, and the chain is on it, and he sees it's Tom, and he goes, "Oh, it's you. You can keep a secret." And Tom was like, I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to see in here? What crazy rock star scene is awaiting me behind these doors? And when Jimmy opened it up, every flat surface in the room was covered with receipts that were organized to send to management in Los Angeles. And he said, half jokingly, he said, if this gets out, it'll ruin my reputation. And I mentioned that story to Michael Utley, and Utley says, yeah, he still says that when he goes to bed at 9:00 at night or goes jogging.
Oh, that is funny. That doesn't surprise me, though. That sounds like something that I don't know him, and you feel like you know people who are that famous, though, don't you?
Yeah.
I watched the video. I think it must have been like a homemade video for Come Monday. I mean, years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's so young, of course, and his wife, maybe she was his girlfriend at the time. I mean, oh my gosh, they're so young and so sweet. And that song really kind of, I'm glad that they did a video. That was probably before videos were really that popular, I'm guessing.
Yeah, ABC Records has sent a film crew down to Key West to try and, kind of capture some of it, because one of the real hard things in those early days was he didn't fit a genre, and nobody knew how to describe him. Nobody knew how to talk about him or write about him or where he fit into the grand scheme of things. And that kind of remained true all the way up until one day that he was suddenly his own genre. I mean, there's a whole trop rock genre now that owes its existence to Jimmy. Absolutely, yeah. And he just kind of by being himself, which was somebody who, even when people couldn't wrap their heads around the music and what it was, people always liked Jimmy Buffett. His first manager in Nashville, Don Light, who died before I started working on this book, but Peter Cooper, who's a fantastic journalist, had a very, very long and detailed interview with him that he gave me access to. Don Light said that the reaction up and down Music Row when he would take them Buffett songs was, "I really like the guy. I can't get him on the radio. I really like the guy. We can't get him on the radio." And Light, right? after telling the story, goes, "And they weren't wrong. With the exception of Margaritaville and to a lesser degree, Come Monday, Cheeseburger in Paradise, and Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude, and those were top 40 hits, but they didn't break past 30. He hasn't been on the radio. He's done this entirely on his own in ways that the industry could never figure out, but he could."
And he certainly has created a multi-billion-dollar empire, especially here in Florida, with everything he has, plus all the Parrot Head clubs that popped up.
Yeah, I mean, I've been individually emailing every Parrot Head club because I'm going to do a couple of Facebook Live events. And you cannot wrap your head around the scope of how many Parrot Head clubs there are until you try to individually email each one of them. It's been a 4-day process.
The book is called Jimmy Buffett, A Good Life All the Way. I just love this, and I have the book. I'd like to give it away, and so call me right now if you want it, and the rest of us will have to go buy it, including myself. I'll get it on Kindle, and that way I can take it with me.
Hey guys, I've got another one calling in. I'd love to do more of this if I can.
All right.
But I got to jump on with Detroit.
Okay.
All right.
So,
you want to tell us a website before you go?
RyanWWhite.com. Books Jimmy Buffett, A Good Life All the Way came out yesterday. A lot of fun, I think.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. All right. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. President Trump defending his firing of FBI Director James Comey, tweeting,
Comey lost the